The other thing that made headlines from the show last night, dude, I got to talk about this. Samoa Joe and Keith Lee had a match for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Okay, they advertised this on Collision last week for this show. They went out there, they had a good match. Joe chokes him out clean, he retains the title. They said before the match that Joe broke the record last week, which I don't think made any fanfare about whatsoever until they mention it here. Not like anyone really gives a shit, but he broke the record as the longest reigning Ring of Honor World Television Champion in Ring of Honor history, breaking Jay Lethal's record from almost 8 or 9 years ago. He then gets on the mic and then says he's reshifting his focus back to the AEW World Championship and back on MJF. Therefore, he is relinquishing the Ring of Honor World Television title. Now, I know people might be thinking, who gives a shit? It's a pointless title for a pointless brand. Here's my problem with this. I watch Ring of Honor. I mean, I know I'm not the only one, but there's a lot of people who don't, and that makes sense, because why would you? Because the show's just not overly exciting right now, and it hasn't been for a while since AEW bought it, at least the weekly television show. They have this shit all over Dynamite. It feels like half of the Ring of Honor champions, if not more, are on Dynamite weekly, or on Collision. The titles are being defended on the fucking shows, okay? They want us to care about Ring of Honor. But you have Samoa Joe out there giving up this championship to go after the AEW World Championship that he already vied for as the Ring of Honor TV champion. So the idea that he has to give up this title like it's a fucking, title shot, like it's option C in TNA or something like that, to go after the World Championship is ridiculous. We just saw him go after the AEW World title as the Ring of Honor TV champion. Not to mention MJF is one half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team champions. I mean, this is just comical. I was just so fucking pissed after I watched this, thinking they just jobbed out Keith Lee. I mean, this is the most fitting thing I've seen them do with Keith Lee in a while. He loses to Joe. They couldn't just have Keith Lee beat him. They had Joe hold the championship for 600 days like anyone gives a shit, and then he doesn't even drop it to the next person or elevate anyone on his way out of Ring of Honor. I just think that's one of the dumbest things I've seen in some time. And just because it was done with Asuka 7 years ago doesn't make it any better. At least Asuka was undefeated, and I thought that was stupid too. She also should have lost to someone on the way out. They didn't do that. They wanted to keep her undefeated. Joe's not undefeated. He's already lost to MJF and a few other people several times. He could have lost the championship before going after MJF. I just thought that was so dumb, and it got me so heated after I watched that last night. More than it should have, admittedly, but I just thought that was very silly.
I'm dying. I love how Jesus are fired up over that. I mean, yeah, it makes no sense. Like I said, he literally was the champion when he lost to Punk. Lost to Punk,
seriously?
He was champion, lost to MJF. Now he's just going to drop the belt. Like I said, the problem is, I don't know how often, the people that actually hold titles show up on Ring of Honor TV that normal. I doubt MJF's all over the show as the tag team champion.
He's not on the show at all. I mean, he's not in Ring of Honor at all.
So, I mean, I just think it's funny. It's just at least have him lose on the way out. I just feel like vacating the belt. So now he's going to fix his focus. But, he's already lost the title for the title multiple times clean. I don't know. I feel like something like that just doesn't make total sense to me. Obviously, I don't give a shit about Ring of Honor, so I don't really care. But I can understand where you're coming from, because in hindsight, or just in general, it makes no sense.
It's insulting to people who watch the product, but my other point is that they want you to care about Ring of Honor. If they didn't want you to care about Ring of Honor or watch Ring of Honor, they wouldn't have these champions and these title matches all over the show. How often are they advertising, Ring of Honor World title match tonight, Eddie Kingston against Jeff Jarrett? No one gives a fuck, dude. No one cares. And I love Eddie Kingston. I'm glad he won the championship. No one cares about Ring of Honor. And if you want to have it as its own little separate thing, do it on the side. It's your little side cute pet project, whatever. It's not, though. It's the same thing as AEW. AEW is Ring of Honor is AEW. And they have them all over the show. They have all these title matches on the show. They have Ring of Honor TV title matches on AEW programming constantly. Why should I care going forward about these TV title matches if they're going to have this title on the show if Samoa Joe himself said it's not worth my time? And he's been holding it for 6 months. He's been holding it for 600 days. In the last 6 months alone, he's lost to Punk twice, and Punk never got a title shot. I mean, it was a complete afterthought at that point. It's an afterthought now. Why not have him lose the championship 6 months ago or give it up a year ago? I just feel like to give it up now is the worst part. And then on top of all of that, like I said, if they want you to watch Ring of Honor, you're not. You're not going to watch Ring of Honor anyway. But you're especially not going to, I want to see this tournament to crown a new champion that's going to win by, let me check my notes, fucking Tony Nese. Who cares, dude? No one gives a shit. And on top of all of that, like I said, Keith fucking Lee. I mean, what are we doing here? I know this is nothing new. I'm an old man screaming at the clouds here. But if this wasn't the most fitting thing they've done to them yet, like I said, I don't know what is. I mean, the man went in there and lost clean, and then Joe says, this belt is not worth my time. Then why defend it in the first place? Why not just give it to Keith Lee at that point? I mean, what a joke. Keith Lee, I mean, I don't know, when his contract is up, he better get his ass out of there as quickly as possible. What a fucking waste, dude. An absolute waste.
I'm dying. GSM is going off leash. Love it.
One of the dumbest things I've seen on this show in some time. And they did a lot of dumb stuff last week. This pissed me off more than anything. I'm just thinking, waste of Keith Lee, waste of the championship, even a waste of Joe. I mean, if you want, listen, at this point, give Samoa Joe the AEW World Championship. Regardless of what even happened last night, he should be the champion anyway. I mean, Joe's amazing. He comes out there. He's always over. He does great work. He's never going to win another world title again in any other promotion unless he wins it here at this current point. The start and stop pushes with this man are ridiculous. I know he gets hurt a lot, but now's the time. Have him beat MJF at some point, maybe at World's End. I don't know. If it's not him, I don't know who it is, but I would just give it to Joe at this point, especially to make what we saw last night worthwhile, like it even matters anyway, because that belt means nothing regardless.